Feel free to walk on the glass floor, guys. It's not going to go anywhere. Anyway, if you manage to break this, we mind buying me a lottery ticket because you've always got great odds on your side. Come on.
We'll take the way to the bus.
Yeah.
Welcome down, everyone. Join us on the glass floor. Admire the archaeology beneath your feet. And if you don't want to do that, admire the pictures and videos on the wall, showing you the questionable fashion sense of archaeologists in the 7th of Geneva.
What's so crazy as well? Someone went down a toilet with no biohazard gear on. No, you would have thought they would put a face mask on. That's so great. Okay. Hello there, guys. Welcome on in. Feel free to pop onto the glass floor. It's nice and safe. It won't be going anywhere. The most dangerous thing in this room is my hands, hence why they're in my very authentic Viking pockets. I do. I know. Sorry, I'll see the hand. I'll see the face. Hello, everybody. Welcome on down. So those of you who are brave enough to walk on the glass, well, congratulations, you're stomping all over history, but without doing damage to it. That's great, hence the glass. Now, in this room, we've given you a 1-to-1 scale replica of what part of this dig would have looked like. The whole room represents about 30 square metres of the overall dig. It starts in 1976 with the intention of being only 6 months. So in 1981, when they finished, the council were a bit annoyed with us. We ended up clearing out a dig the size of the English football pitch, or 1,000 square metres, that was 6 to 9 metres deep in areas. So, yeah, it's big. What happened was they got about 6 metres underground. At the top there with a few trenches, bumped into a Viking street, and it became a case of, oh no, we're going to have to send it a bit longer. And that's why the council didn't really like us. They had to pay for it out of pocket. So, we found 16 to 18 building foundations. 2 of them are in this room. I'll discuss them in a second. We have 4 back gardens with all the rubbish that you don't want inside of your house. It just goes out there. So we should all be very grateful for bin men, because otherwise you've just got festering food in the back garden. It's never fun. You'll be able to smell that later. So yes, Coppergate, when you compare it to the rest of Viking York, is actually quite young. It's built from about 910 to 920, or the first houses certainly are. So if you've come looking for Vikings, you're 3 generations too late. What happened was, on the 1st of November, when the Great Heathen Horde, which had landed in East Anglia a year before, arrived, they came across a city that was almost undefended. Basically, Northumbria, like many other Anglo-Saxon kingdoms, was going through a civil war, somewhat. Basically, there were 2 guys who were like, we have equal rights to the throne, we're going to fight over it. And Osbert and Eala. So if you've watched the Vikings TV show, that is the Eala that I'm talking about. And if you haven't, good on you. It's a horrible example of Viking history. Anyway, I'll state it massive from here on, I promise. So, Osbert and Eala had taken their own armies elsewhere, and so when the Viking horde arrived, bearing in mind, to be classified as a horde in Old English, you have to have an army greater than 36 people. So technically, you guys are all a horde right now, so congratulations, guys. Now, again, we'll never unfortunately know exactly how large the army was, but estimations have put it as low as 500, and the highest number we think that they may have occasionally reached is up to 10,000, which is horrifying when you realise that 35 people makes up your entire army. Anyway, they arrived in a city that was pretty much undefended, walked into it, were like, oh my god, this is great, where is everybody? And because it's the 1st of November, everyone's at church. And you cannot bring weapons into a church, so what they'd done is they'd either left them at home, or, helpfully, left them outside of the church propped up against the exterior walls. Any other date before and after this specific date, it's fine, except today Vikings have arrived. And they're well armed, and they are looking for a fight. Except, the people here are alarmed. So what they do is they give them the really nice option of, you can surrender to us and we'll be kind to you, or you can fight us, we'll kill you, and we'll rule over what remains of you. And so most of us surrendered. A city that had been called Eorvik under the Anglo-Saxons is renamed Jórvík. We give you an Anglo-Saxon puppet king. It takes up to 4 months for Osbert and Eala to realise They have lost the capital city of the kingdom they're fighting over, and so when they come and try and take it back, they both lose royally. Anyway, after that, it takes the Vikings 18 months to take 2/3 of England, but that's southern history, we won't talk about that today. And they do what most people do. They settled down and started marrying the locals. So 3 generations later, these guys aren't Vikings. They're actually referred to by scholars as Anglo-Scandinavians, which doesn't quite fit on a sign so well, so we stuck with the word Vikings because most people know what Vikings means. It actually means pirate in Old English, so congratulations. Now, like I said, the first houses are built till 910 to 920. They are not good houses. You're essentially going to be looking at the Viking equivalent of a council house. It's small, being 4.5 metres wide. This is a bed with a side wall. All the way across where that child sat on the floor is the other bed with a wall behind her. So yeah, not big at all. There's a back door here, and 7-ish metres in that direction would be your front door, so roughly where the back of the lift is today. 6 feet high on the wall, with the addition of a roof, it's 8 feet tall in total. So congratulations guys, I'm going to stick 8 to 12 of you in here, and you're going to enjoy it, okay? Mud floor, mud bed, not for children. Children sleep on the floor. Only adults and those who make money get beds. Children, in the winter times, you get to share it with animals. So if you've ever wanted to have a pig to, sleep, congratulations, this is the time period to do it. You've got no windows. There's no hole in the roof for ventilation either, and your house will last 5 years. Did I also mention it's made out of wattle and daub, which is basically a woven stick basket smothered with clay, straw and animal poo, usually horse poo, helpfully siled on by the children. So congratulations guys, welcome to your career. Centre of this house has a massive hearth with 2 fires in it. One is for cooking, the other one we think is for a blacksmith, because not only did we find a massive fire, we also found about 200 knife blades from this site. Most of them are in this house. So yes, every 5 years you've got 2 options. You can continue to live in your house and possibly have the roof fall on you, or you can try and prop it up with sticks, or you can just flat pack it down, put earth on top of it, and then build another house on top of the old house. And this will go on for decades, raising the ground level so high that when you get to the new styles of house, which come with basements, you don't even have to dig into the ground to make your basement. You slice into the hill that you've now made, make a right angle upwards, and you've already got 2/3 of the basement sorted. You line it with oak timbers from a forest that we accidentally cut down, so it's now extinct around York, and we line the inside of the basement with it. We stick a nice wooden house on top, so children now have wooden floors to sleep on instead of mud floors, so congratulations for the upgrade kids. We adults get a house which has a interior wall. We've got 2 rooms instead of 1 room, so you get a little bit of privacy now guys. And it also comes with this wonderful revolutionary thing called a window. It's about the size of your hand. You can reach through it and you can knock on your friend's wall if you really want to annoy them at 3 in the morning. If you really want to, I'm not going to say you can, God. And the other massive up for this house is it lasts 30 years. So you can be born and die in the same house if you want to. Now, these are the houses, you're going to see them on the right later. We've also given you a little bit of what the back gardens look like, because as far away from your back door as you could physically put it are the toilets of all things. There were 4 of them that archaeologists came across, and thanks to the wet, soggy, oxygen-deprived soil that we have here, they were really fresh after 1,000 years. So much so that archaeologists describe them as being like quicksand. So you can still fall into an 8-foot deep toilet now, kids, if you want to. I would not suggest it, because when one of those, if you want to see an example, there's one over there. When one of them was being uncovered during a heat wave, some of the archaeologists found that there were things inside of the toilets that hadn't died yet. And so they were all encouraged to go to hospitals to be immunised. So all of this we have rebuilt for you on the ride. You're going to get the sights, the sounds and the smells of what it's like to live in the 10th century. And if you think it's bad, we've turned the smells down by popular demand. So, don't hold your nose for the next 15.5 minutes. That's kind of permanent there. But when you're ready, guys, Through that doorway over there and to the left is the ride for you. If you have any questions about anything you've seen here today or Vikings in general, there is always someone to talk to.
So when their house fell apart, they would just build a new house on top of it. And then by the time they were able to advance the basement, they would already have this giant hill, so they just built the basement inside of the hill. And then don't even
Yeah, it's kind of like when we were saying yesterday about it's close. Like they kept building on top of it.
How many do you want?
it's like way too big.
Cool, if you three line of bed, please, I'll get you in the background.
It's actually like
Let's see how we're going to sit. I think we can sit three in a line. That's right, yeah.
oh, it's fully up.
We'll stop in a minute. Just please mind your head on the big speakers, everyone. They stick out a really, really long way. So back her that way. Good job, Roxy.
It's like Disney.
Rattling clothes.
It's like a real ride.
Like a real life.
And you are. Time-Capsule and technical. First one today is number 4. Thank you. Give the flag, please, everyone. Lovely. Are 3 today? Yeah, great. You in the front. Thank you. And hello, and are you too?
Yes.
Yeah, great. I'll get you two in the back.
Thank you.
Leave on that. We'll talk to you in a moment. It's a very slow ride, you can see everywhere. At least roller coaster, not a roller coaster. How long is that? 15 minutes, so 4 from now. Sit down, everyone. Please mind your heads on those big silver speakers. You can see in your headbands, okay? So back over 2, please. There you go. How many in your family? I'll give you a patch to yourself. So yeah, you're chosen, grand. That's it, you leave it on that and I'll talk to you in a minute, okay? So,
Please select your chosen language now.
yes, don't worry, you've already done that bit.
There's a kids one. I keep getting asked if I want to do the kids one. I can understand proper
We are going to
English.
take you back in time to Jórvík, Viking-age York. Around the time that Eric Rudder, the last Viking king in Jórvík, was banished, Jórvík expanded dramatically, with new streets, new churches, and a brand new style of houses. It was a busy place, with people arriving from all over the Viking world to visit, trade, and settle. In this multicultural society, people have different appearances, languages, religions, and possessions. The remains of part of this thriving city were found right here, and by carefully piecing together all of the archaeological evidence and what we know from other sources, you can now visit the Viking Age. You have arrived by the river lies the city with countless houses and workshops, many of them newly rebuilt. Some, like this damaged one, a victim of an unintended harbour house. As ships became more seaworthy, the Vikings created wider trading routes, sometimes using chains of middlemen to carry goods from one side of the Viking world to the other. Silks and the cowrie shell found here suggest trade with Central Asia, the Eastern Mediterranean and the Red Sea. It's possible that Arab traders, like this man, made their way to Europe to sell their goods. Slaves may have come to York from Jórvík or elsewhere, bringing with them the spoils of their raids or packages. Slaves were an important part of society all over Northern and Western Europe at this time. It looks like this slave trader is trying to make his way up to Coppergate. But before we get there, let's have a look at some of the many craftspeople working here in the city. Here's Sigurd. He's using animal bones and anchor from deer to make some everyday objects such as combs, comb cases, skates and bone pins. Making a comb from antler could be very time consuming, as the ones found here are made from many pieces riveted together and then decorated. We know that the Vikings like to keep themselves well groomed, as we found many combs in the excavations, as well as items such as tweezers and even ear screws. We'll now head away from the river towards the street, Coppergate, and meet some more of the people who lived and worked here. Ahead, you can see a simple, single-storey building. These older houses were built from posts and rubble and had earth floors and thatched roofs. Most of these houses went out of use in the middle of the 10th century when they were replaced by the oak-plank buildings that we'll talk about later. These early houses were built end-on to the streets and had long backyards with rubbish bits in them. It's not likely that they grew much food in the yards, but they probably kept animals there, such as those pigs you can see in the pen by the fence. From the many pig bones we found here, we know that Viking pigs were quite short and had a long snout like a wild boar. Pigs will eat almost anything, so would have been a great way to turn household waste into meat. Here's the blacksmith's house. Look inside and you can see his wife by the fire. Grummy, the blacksmith, is teaching his son how to sharpen a knife he had just made. Viking-age smiths were masters of their craft, and here in Jórvík they made everything from needles to beautifully ornate patterns. Now we'll go across to the next property and visit his neighbour, Unni, a wood turner who lives in one of the new style wooden planked buildings. Unni is making cups and bowls by turning wood such as oak or ash on his coal lathe. You can see all the wooden coal waste on the ground, which children may have used as spinning tools. By the way, it's this trade that many think gave its name to Coppergate, the street of the cup makers. Another building is being built behind Unni's house. Here, the cellar is being dug out and lined with oak planks before the upper story is added. You can see a stack of turrets over there that are going to be used to roof this building. Looks like the builders are having a rest break. This family also look like they're taking a break. The children are being taught to play Nefertari by their grandfathers. We found a wooden gaming board and lots of playing pieces here made from bone, wood and ivory, so it must have been a popular pastime. Let's go back towards the river where big trading ships of these would have come up from the North Sea. Here, traders are unloading their goods alongside fishermen cleaning their catch. Goods and raw materials from across Britain, as well as rare and valuable items from further afield, were brought into Jórvík here. Iron alloy bars from Britain alongside amber, sharpening stones and walrus iron from Scandinavia, and good wine from the Viking-age. Jórvík was truly bustling, a vast international trading centre. Here's some fishermen cleaning their catch and mending their nets. Fish from the rivers and the sea were brought into Jórvík, and we found thousands of fish bones that tell us exactly what the people ate, which included lots of fish, eels, and even oysters. So these men are probably doing a roaring trade. Have a look at the man cutting the fish. His face has been reconstructed based on a skull that was found in York. Later on in the visit, you'll see more real faces like this. This next plot is a backyard where the people living here seem to have been dyeing their own cloth. The people of Jórvík spun fleece, then dyed and wove their own wool to make textiles from which they made their own clothes. Natural dye plants such as madder, well, rose, and dyed greenweed were all used to create shades of red, yellow, blue, and green. Vibrantly coloured clothes would certainly have brightened up the streets of Jórvík. On this plot of land, there was a gully that contained dye-plant waste, suggesting that a dye bath had been tipped into it. Limestone lined that ditch running up to this next building, forming a passageway to the back door.
That's like Disney. That's like.
Yeah, except this is real.
I was gonna say it's like Pirates of the Caribbean.
We are now entering one of the new style oak planked buildings. We were still discussing whether these buildings were 1 or 2 story, but they all had rooms or cellars below ground level. As we travel through this 2-roomed house, you can imagine that the floor at the back is being built, and you can see the cellar below where goods are stored. Above this sunken roof, the window openings are only small, so, as you can see, it would have been quite dark inside these houses. In addition to the hearth, small pottery lamps and wax candles were used to create light so that the people who lived here could carry out their everyday tasks. In this front room, you can see a woman working at the loom, which was used to weave woolen cloth for clothing and blankets. We are now moving into Coppergate itself, an important commercial street right in the heart of the city of Jórvík. As you can see from these stalls, we can buy almost anything. Coppergate is just one of the many streets in this city, which was home to more than 10,000 people. The streets of the city of Jórvík are covered in filth and mud, rutted by cartwheels and with potholes everywhere. This leather worker seems to be having a problem sewing his shoe pieces together, and looks like he has Viking's disease, or Dupuytren's contracture. You can see it's caused the fingers on his hand to become clawed. It's a genetic disorder that runs in families, and some particularly in middle-aged men. Tradition has it that it originated with the Vikings, who spread it throughout northern Europe and beyond as they travelled here to marry. This couple here are arguing about what to have for supper, meat or fish. It would seem that life hasn't changed too much over the last 1,000 years. They're arguing in Old Norse, but if you listen carefully, you can hear Old English, Middle Welsh, and Old Irish all being spoken in this street. Here's a food seller trying to sell this wealthy-looking woman a cabbage of some sort. It doesn't look like the type of thing that would tempt her or her young baby. This woman looks like she's struggling to cross the road. We only found 2 complete skeletons in the excavations here, and this one is based on one. You can see that she's walking with a crutch due to her hip problems and arthritis. You can find out more about her in the galleries to come. Here, we're in another of the new buildings. The first Vikings who came here were not Christians who worshipped their pagan Norse gods, but they seem to have adopted Christianity quite quickly. There is lots of evidence for there being a Viking-era church just behind Coppergate, and there were many other new churches built in Jórvík at this time. Here's a priest administering last rites. He would always have worn a stole around his neck, as seen here, as it marked his priestly status. We found a very small, silver, pink-coloured reliquary pouch in one of the buildings. The embroidered cross on it suggests that it once held holy relics, which have since disappeared and are now a mystery. Each property is separated from the next by woven wattled fences. We know from the 5 tons of animal bone found in the excavation that the people's diet was quite similar to ours, with lots of beef, pork and mutton, as well as poultry and fish. Supplying this food may have been one of the reasons for the major changes in the countryside we see around Jórvík at this time. In this backyard, animals have been slaughtered to provide meat and other resources. Body parts of cattle must have been a fairly familiar sight and smell around Viking-age York. As well as supplying meat, cattle carcasses also provided wool and hide, both valuable resources for making everyday items. Stomach contents and cow dung were other byproducts of this slaughter. There must have been loads of flies breeding in rubbish pits and dumps across the city. The red pig there on the fence would have been a regular visitor, scavenging in the city, particularly in backyards like this. Toilets would also have been situated in the backyard. Pits in this yard were clearly used as latrines, as well as mops, which is a type of Viking-age toilet paper.
Are they like stuck in it?
Doesn't look too happy to be disturbed, so perhaps we had better move on quickly.
Yeah.
Here we are in our final house. In the excavations at Coppergate, we found a few Viking-age musical instruments, including a set of panpipes which can still be played. Music, saga-telling and poetry must have been important to the Viking Age. Iceland and Scandinavia have cultures rich in storytelling, traditions that developed in Viking times. Norse mythology, which conjures up gods and monsters living in 9 realms, still captures the imagination today, and we can picture what it was like sitting around a hearth, enjoying tall tales of magic and bravery. As we arrive at the end of your journey through Jórvík, remember that everything you have seen is based on the evidence dug up by archaeologists from York Archaeological Trust. You can see some of the 40,000 actual objects they found here in the displays ahead, and you can find out more by asking one of our team. If you want to learn more about the historic city of York, you can go to Dig and actually have a go at digging up some evidence of your own. Whatever you do, enjoy your visit with us here today, and come back soon, as we're always discovering more as we dig through York's fascinating past.
Welcome back, everyone. Have you had a good trip through? Yeah. Everything you've just seen is based on what you're going to see next. So have a good look through there as well.
But they lost their earrings. They lost their earrings.
I think that's so crazy. I found a lost earring in our room that was so easy for someone to find. And I lost the earring in my other room. So I had to put together and have my own earring and someone else.
So that's the skeleton that they were.
That woman, I guess.
That they modeled.
Yep, that woman. She wasn't very tall. That woman wasn't very tall.
She was 5'2" and 45.
She already had arthritis at 45.
Wow.
That looks like fully intact. Wow.
This stuff was well made, I guess.
I know.
The Viking sites were very well green.
What?
6 meters or 6 feet under. 6 meters under Bennett.
This piece of human feces contains eggs and
No, we're done. No.
So, this stuff, pretty great up. It is nestled fossils. I'm not saying it's impossible to cut through.
They used like pliers.
The Vikings were very advanced.
No, not something about an angle.
Just think about this. The Vikings were doing this. The Indians were eating each other.
Swords, you've got axes,
Think about that.
knives, spears. Chances are you're not gonna get through this without that. And that doesn't mean the first environment is completely safe. There's two things to worry about. One, the fact that it's really flexible is a good, because it means you can move completely normally whilst working. Yeah, it's really everything. Yeah, tired quicker whilst working. The downside to it
Their shoes were still intact.
is that if you are hit by something
Yeah, I
particularly
guess their stuff was made for because it
all the way
had
behind,
been thousands of years.
a lot of impact on
It's still almost completely intact.
this doesn't do a lot to
I mean, you can literally just feel this
most
warm.
time on one spot. So if someone hits you with something hard and heavy enough, they can break your bones through there. So they're not going to cut your arms and legs off. Like great big collarbones and ribs and stuff. Could be worse. Still worth having. The thing you have to really worry about is on
They used fishing hooks and stuff.
finely pointed ones. Now, you don't have too many of those.
These are
in like
1,000 years old.
later in the medieval period, you get these kinds of daggers, particularly really
Libraries and stuff.
and they can just go right the way through the time. But you don't have those. We do have people think about ways to get to past this. Now we've got some arrowheads cabinet up there. Really? They're pretty much like kind of a miniature spearhead. They're very, very thin. So that this does mean though that if they hit something particularly solid, they will bend out of shape. So even though this one's quite a narrow sound and with not particularly finely made chainmail like this, as usually the Viking-age stores, small rings. But that might be able to go through some of these rings quite far. But that's not going to kill it. Quite frankly, you've got to take into account things like tunics. Well, maybe won't consider fixed tunic, maybe full tunics to help
They use spoons and plates and stuff.
It's not going to do them any serious harm. And that's as far as it's going to get for it bent out of shape back to its office. But there are kinds of arrows. This thing is called a needle. It's about later. I just laid it out over the way it's made, really stiff. It's not going to bend. The amount of
They sent me they survived the pyramid somewhere. One that I'm that's my turn. Now it's your turn. First step.
These don't exist exactly, but you can see early versions. You can see people thinking that how do I get this chainmail on whatever way to speak of. They have experimented with arrowheads. One of the arrowheads is much thinner than the others, but not this one. All around.
Is it like watching yourself? Is it more with a mobile phone?
Shape of it was not reinforced. Like, this is simple, easy to make.
That's the level of tech. Even on like a proper keyboard.
That's what we will get through this while all these
We don't allow my dad to have touch screen phone anymore. It's not safe. 600 photos of his ear on the last one. I remember you saying, yeah. I think I was probably just thinking,
télécharger l'article, mais du coup, ils ne peuvent pas utiliser comment leur monnaie.
Adrenaline might carry you through. But if you wear it for a little bit every day, wear it for a little longer every day, and then you start wearing it whilst training with weaponry, you eventually get to the point where you're wearing that helmet, have a sword and an axe and a shield and a spear, you go for a 10-mile run, do some fight training, and then at least march to the end of that.
Oh, that's a good question. So this is made out of wool, and what you do, let's see if I can find my needle in here. Here we go. You get a needle like this, that you make out of like bone. So that's how you get it.
This girl was only 4'9".
She was given a Christian burial. Like it's on Jesus. That's where the Vikings found Jesus.
What? That was it?
I thought the ride was going to be like really low budget. The ride was pretty good.
We'd bring that in the airplane. Vikings York. Alright, go to the bathroom.
They love letting people bring Vikings swords in the airplane.